Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin Liber Primus, Review 3, chapters 9 through 12. This is exercise H, parsing English to Latin. Sententia prima. The envoy will soon carry to the German king the message about the danger of war. So to find your subject, always go to your verb. Will soon carry. Ask yourself, who will soon carry? And that will be the envoy. The envoy is our subject. He must be in the nominative case if he's our subject. And he's singular. There's only one envoy. The Latin for envoy is legatus e masculine, a second declension masculine. So legatus. He will soon carry. Soon, adverb, jam. You could also write mox. Carry is our verb, because he, the envoy, will do it. The verb will be third person singular. Will is our helping verb, future, active voice, and indicative mood. It's not an imperative. The envoy will soon carry. And the Latin verb for to carry is porto, portare, portavi, portatus. So legatus jam portabit. You take the present stem porta, and then add the third person singular future bit, portabit. To the German king. The envoy will soon carry to the German king. He's going to carry something to the German king. So we're going towards the German king. Ad plus the accusative motion towards. The adjective German modifies the noun king. So Germanus German must have the same gender numbering case as king. King, accusative motion towards, because we're going towards it with ad. The Latin word for king is rex regis masculine. That means that German, Germanus must also be accusative, singular, and masculine. Message is going to be the direct object. So the subject, he will verb the direct object. He's going to verb that direct object towards, in the direction of the German king. That's why we have that preposition ad to help us out there. But this is going to be our direct object, the thing that receives the action of the verb. The message gets the action of the carry. So the accusative case, there's only one, singular. The Latin word for message is nuntius e masculine. So a nuntium that is going ad regem Germanum. And it's a message that is about the danger of war. About is the preposition de, which takes the ablative case. So it's about, not the war, but about the danger of the war. The war is possessing the danger. Danger needs to be ablative to go with the preposition de. The Latin word for danger is periculum e neuter. So de periculo. And then as we said that war is possessing the danger, we want the genitive possession of bellum e neuter, war. And we can put that genitive of possession, belli, in between the preposition de and the noun periculo. So something like de belli periculo, about the war's danger, about the danger of the war. Altogether, we could have something like a legatus nuntium de belli periculo ad regem Germanum jam portabit. Optime. Secunda, sententia secunda. The journey from Spain to Asia is long. So here we have a sentence where the subject is journey, because our verb is, it's a linking verb. We're saying that the nominative subject is, journey, is equals the predicate nominative long, which is an adjective. So long, longos will need to agree with journey. And it's going to be nominative, needs to agree in case and in number. In gender and in number. So journey, iter itineris neuter, journey, route, march. And we want the nominative, it's our subject, which is just iter. And it's from Spain, we're moving from Spain, a-ob, preposition a-ob, plus the ablative, away from, separation. We want the ablative of Hispania, I, feminine, Spain. Spain is singular, there's only one. So, ab Hispania. You should put the B on ob, because if the next word starts with a vowel or the letter H, like Hispania, the H is nearly silent, the B eases pronunciation. So, ab Hispania. Iter ab Hispania, and we're going to Asia. Odd, preposition ad, odd, motion towards, takes the accusative. So we want the accusative of Asia, I, feminine. So Asiam. We're saying that that journey is long. Is, third person singular, because the journey is, it is. With the third person singular, present tense, happening right now, present time, active voice indicative mood of sum esse fui futurus, to be. So that's sum est, sumus est sunt, we have est. Iter, est, and then longus aum must agree in gender and number with iter, and that's going to be longum. It needs to be nominative because it's the predicate nominative. Iter ab Hispania ad Asiam est longum. Iter est longum. Longum est iter. Longum est iter ab Hispania ad Asiam. Any one of those at the end works. Tertia. Carry your swords to the camp now, soldiers. Soon we will fight against the enemy. So carry your swords to the camp now, soldiers. So we are commanding these soldiers, whom we are calling out, direct address by name. So this will be vocative. And we'll put soldiers closer up towards the front, but not the first word. We will not make the vocative plural milites the first word here. We'll start with carry. So porto, portare, portavi, portatus, to carry. We are ordering plural soldiers to do something, plural imperative. So you take the singular, porta, same as the present stem, and then add te, portate. What are you supposed to carry? The direct object of the imperative. That's going to be your swords. Keep in mind that we are addressing plural soldiers. You, plural, we need to use wester, westra, westrum, not tuus aum. Tuus aum would be for a singular person. So carry thy sword, soldier, would be tuus aum. Wester is for yours. So it's got to agree with gladius e masculine, the accusative plural masculine gladios, vestros. Portate gladios vestros milites. Portate, comma, milites, comma, gladios vestros. And to the camp now. So we're going towards the camp. Preposition odd plus the accusative, motion towards. Camp, Latin word for camp is castra, orum, always neuter, always plural. So ad castra. It only has 5 forms. The nominative is castra, and then it goes castrorum, then castris, castra, castris. So ad castra. Now, we're doing this now. Carry your swords to the camp now, soldiers. We can use nunc, because it's got to happen right now. Portate milites ad castra nunc. You could use iam as well. And then we already did the soldiers. Here's our semicolon. Soon we will fight against the enemy. Yeah, better not use iam for this. Use nunc for this now. Soon, you may use, this is an adverb. You may use iam for this soon, because it's future tense, we will fight. Or you may use mox, M-O-X. But it's an adverb. It shows time, when. When will we fight? Soon. We will fight. Subject is we. This is an indicative verb. Carry is an imperative. And all imperatives are second person, either second person singular or plural. Now, we will fight. This is indicative, showing a fact, not imperative, but a fact. First person plural, future active indicative of pugno, pugnare, pugnavi, pugnatus, to fight. And we'll do it soon. So pugna, present stem, and then bimus. Mox pugnabimus. Against the enemy. Contra, preposition contra, takes the accusative to show against the enemy. Notice not against an enemy, singular, against the enemy, plural. Hostis, hostis, masculine. Is it an I stem? It's a third declension masculine, and it is an I stem. Its nominative ends in is, and it is perisyllabic with its genitive. Nominative is hostis, 2 syllables, and its genitive is hostis, 2 syllables. So its genitive plural would be hostium. We don't want that. We want the accusative plural. Contra hostes. Contra hostes. Mox or iam pugnabimus contra hostes. All together. Portate milites gladios vestros ad castra nunc. Iam pugnabimus contra hostes. Optime, quarta. Sententia quarta. We were walking towards the wide river for a long time. So we is the subject because we were doing the verb. First person plural of ambulo, ambulare, ambulavi, ambulatus, to walk. We were doing this in the past time, repeatedly. First person plural, imperfect, active, indicative. So ambulabamus, ambulabamus. We were walking toward, to or towards, ad, preposition ad plus the accusative, motion towards the wide river. Wide being an adjective modifying the noun river. Wide, latosaum, and river is flumen, fluminous, neuter. So we want both accusative, both singular, and both neuter. Flumen latum, ad flumen latum. And we did this for a long time. How long? For a long time. It's an adverb because it tells us how. How did the action happen? For what span of time? Diu, diu, a little word to mean a lot of words. For a long time. Diu. Ad flumen latum diu ambulabamus. Ad flumen latum diu ambulabamus. Optime, quinta, sententia quinta. The Roman camp was often in a large plain. So the subject is the camp, the Roman camp, adjective Roman to modify camp, because we have our linking verb was. We're saying the subject, the camp was in. This is our predicate. It's not a predicate nominative, but this is our predicate in, ablative of location. Remember, we cannot have an accusative direct object if our main verb is a linking verb, like it is here, was. So the Roman camp, Roman, Romanusaum, to agree with the nominative of castra, orum, always neuter, always plural. The castra romana, both are nominative, both are plural, and both are neuter. Was often, was, this is the, needs to be the third person plural because camp is always plural in Latin. Third person plural, imperfect active indicative of sum esse fui futurus. So errant, castra romana errant, often or oft, saipe, it's an adverb. How or when did this happen? Often. So often modifies was saipe. Saipe errant. Castra romana. In a large plain. In plus the accusative would show motion towards, into, or onto, but in plus the ablative shows location, in or on. Large is an adjective modifying plain. Magnusa and must have the same gender numbering case as plain, campus e masculine. We said both must be ablative, both must be singular, and both must be masculine because of the in. In campo magno. Gasra Ramana Saipe erant in campo magno. Sexta, sententia sexta. Did you see many animals in the deep sea? Because they're there. Did you see? We're asking a question. It's an interrogative. And it's a neutral yes or no. Did you see? We're not asking, didn't you see? Did you not see? You didn't see that, did you? We're not trying to influence the outcome. It's just neutral, yes or no. So whatever the first word of the sentence is, and I recommend you make it the verb. You don't have to. I recommend you make it the verb. You have to attach the enclitic ne, N-E, ne, like a parasitic alien to the end of that first word to inform your reader or your listener. This is a question, an interrogative. Did you see? So we have see, look at. Did you look at? Did you see? Specta, spectare, spectavi, spectatus. To look at. Did you look at many animals in the deep sea? Did you see them? You, second person singular. And did you do it? Not are you doing it right now in the present tense, but did you do it in the past? Is it done? Did you do that? Did it happen? So we want the perfect tense, second person singular, perfect, active, indicative. So take the perfect stem, spectab, at isti, isti it, imus istis erunt, are the perfect endings. And then add the ne. Spectavisti ne? Did you see? Many animals. Multa saum, to agree with the noun animal, animalis, neuter. We want both to be plural, because it's many animals. If you is the subject of the verb see, many animals is the direct object receiving the action of that verb to look at, to see, to look at many animals. So animals, animal, animalis, neuter. Is it an I stem? It's a third declension neuter, and it is an I stem. Its nominative ends in al, animal. So it will decline like animal, animalis, animali, animal, animali. The ablative singular ends in the letter I, pronounce E, animali. Then the plural goes animalia, animalium, animalibus, animalia, animalibus. We want the accusative because it's the direct object. So animalia. That makes multa saum multa. Multa animalia. Specta vistine multa animalia? And where are those many animals? They are located in the deep sea. In plus the accusative would show motion towards, into, or onto, but in plus the ablative shows location in or on. Deep is alta saum, which is also tall or high. This is deep. And it needs to agree with sea, the big blue wobbly wet thing. Mare, maris, neuter, sea. It's a third declension neuter. Is it an I stem? Yes, it is. Its nominative ends in the letter E, mare. Like animal ends in the letter al. The other one is if the nominative ends in ar, like exemplar. Those are third declension neuter I stems. Mare declines like mare, maris, mari, mare, mari. Maria, marium, maribus, maria, maribus. In, and then the ablative would be mari, and then we want alto, the ablative singular neuter of alto saum, to agree with the ablative singular neuter si, mari. Spectavistine multa animalia in mari alto. And sometimes the Romans would just omit mari and just say in alto, in the deep sea. That's usually confined to poeticisms. Virgil uses that. Optime, septima, sententia septima. There had been much bread in the large ship. Doesn't seem to be there anymore. There had been. So this is existential. We're showing that there was the existence of something. There had been the existence of this thing. This thing had been. So there is not the subject. There's an adverb pointing out there in that place. Much bread had been in the large ship, if that helps you out. The subject is much bread. You got to ask yourself, well, what had been in the large ship? It's the much bread. There. We don't need to put the there. There is a Latin word for there in that place. That's Ibi, but we don't need it there because we know where the bread was. It was in the large ship. There had been. We're just going to use sum as esse fui futurus. We want much bread, third person singular, pluperfect, active indicative. There had been. So fu erat. Fu erat. The perfect stem of sum is fu, third principal part minus the I, and then add erat, fu erat. There had been. There had been. Much bread, multus aum, to agree with panis, masculine, bread. So multus panis. Panis is an I stem. Its nominative ends in is, and it's perisyllabic with its genitive, panis, 2 syllables, and the genitive panis, panis, 2 syllables. Much bread, multus panis is the subject, fuerat, in the large ship. In plus the accusative would show motion towards, into, or onto, but in plus the ablative shows location in or on, and we are in the large, magnos aum, to agree with the noun ship. Navis, feminine. Third declension feminine. Is it an I stem? Yup, it is. Its nominative ends in is, and it's perisyllabic with the genitive. Navis and navis, 2 syllables each. So the genitive plural will be navium. But what about its ablative singular? Ablative singular is fine because it's a third declension feminine I stem. So its ablative would be nawe, ends in letter E. If it were a third declension neuter I stem, it would change the letter I, pronounced E. Like animal is animali, and mare is mari. Navis, feminine, its ablative is nawe. We must have magna, macron over the final A, because it must be ablative singular feminine to agree with nawe, in nawe magna. Fuerat multus panis in nawe magna, macron over the final A. Optime, octava. The citizens in the city have had many laws for a long time. So the citizens, that's our subject because they have had many laws. But wait, pause here. You don't know a Latin verb for to have yet. So you are going to be forced to use the dative of possession. Yes, the dative of possession rears its ugly head once again. So the citizens in the city have had many laws for a long time. We need to rearrange this around to say there have been many laws for the citizens in the city for a long time. So when we flip this around, the many laws becomes the subject. There have been many laws. So it becomes an existential sum kind of sentence like in the previous. There have been many laws for the citizens in the city for a long time. So citizens becomes the dative of possession. And we can start there. So citizens, civis, common, masculine or feminine. We want the dative. Dative plural. It's going to be civibus, for the citizens. Where are they? They're in the city. In plus the accusative would be into or onto, motion towards. In plus the ablative shows location, in or on. We want the ablative orbis feminine, in orbe. In orbe. Yes, orbis is a feminine third declension I stem, but its ablative singular is still an E. In orbe. So civibus in orbe. There have been. There have been many laws for the citizens for a long time. So there have been is going to be third person plural, perfect. There have been, active indicative. We want the perfect stem foo, F-U, foo. Chop off the I from the third principal part. And then erunt, there have been. I isti it, imus istis erunt. So fuerunt. We can even put that in the front. Fuerunt civibus in urbe. There have been for the citizens in the city many laws. Many comes from multasaon, must agree with laws. Lex, legis, feminine. So we want this to be our subject. Subject of fuerunt. So nominative plural feminine, leges, and then nominative plural feminine, multi. Fuerunt civibus in urbe, multi leges, for a long time. There's a little word that means for a long time. Diu, it's an adverb. Fuerunt diu civibus in urbe, multi leges. There have been many laws for the citizens in the city for a long time, which better translates into English as the citizens in the city have had many laws for a long time. Optime. Nona, sententia nona. Carry the grain to Italy in ships, sailors. And notice in parentheses I put in means of ships, sailors. Because I want to emphasize that the in ship shows ablative of means, not so much ablative of location. We're not pointing out that the location of the grain would be in the ships, but that the ships are the means as to how the grain will be carried to Italy. So we have an imperative. We are ordering, direct addressing sailors. So we're going to want the vocative plural of nauta I masculine. Carry is going to be the imperative plural. Imperatives are second person plural, present tense of porto, portare, portavi, portatus. The singular imperative would be porta, but we're talking to sailors. So add te, portate, to make it plural. Portate, comma, nautai. The vocative of nauta in the plural is going to be nautai, same as the nominative. Portate nautai, comma, commas around nautai. Carried the grain. Grain is going to be the direct object. Direct object, so the accusative case, frumentum e neuter. Second declension neuter, so the accusative will be the same as the nominative. Portate nautai frumentum. We're carrying grain to Italy, towards Italy. Preposition ad, which takes the accusative to show motion towards. Italia I feminine. Ad Italiam. We're going ad Italiam by means of ships. The grain is not located in the ships so much. We're not emphasizing that, but that the ships are the means by which the grain gets to Italy. So we want no preposition, no in plus the ablative location here. We want just the bare ablative, because it's ablative of means, of navis feminine. So that will be navibus. Portate nautai, frumentum ad Italiam navibus. Optime. Endecima. When sons were with their fathers in the fields, daughters were with their mothers in the farmhouses. May seem complicated, it's actually not. So when, that's going to be ubi. When the sons were with. So were, in the end, these are just two sentences with linking verbs put together. This is a temporal clause. When this happened, then this happened. When the sons were with, so ubi, here's our subject, were, that's going to be the third person plural imperfect of sum esse fui futurus, erant, with the subject being filius e masculine. nominative plural filii. Ubi filii erant, and they were with their fathers in the fields, so with the fathers, cum plus the ablative of accompaniment, pater patres masculine, cum patribus, with fathers, and where are they? In plus the ablative of location, fields. In ager, agri, masculine, we went in agris. Ubi filii erant cum patribus in agris. Daughters, that's going to be filii feminine. Now we've changed subjects because the daughters were with their mothers in the farmhouses. So the daughters filii, nominative plural subject filii, they erant, same as here, they were, third person plural, imperfect active indicative, filii erant, they were with, cum plus the ablative of accompaniment, mater, matres feminine, cum matribus, in the farmhouses, in plus the ablative, plural feminine of villi feminine, in villis. And when you write this, you can do a compare and contrast because we are doing that here. We're comparing what happens when sons are working, what happens when daughters are working. Sons are in their fathers in the fields, sons are with their fathers in the fields, daughters are with their mothers in the farmhouses. So, ubi filii erant cum patribus in agris, in villis filii erant cum matribus. So you can compare that sons are working with their fathers in the fields, but in the farmhouses, in villis, filii erant cum matribus, the daughters are with their mothers. Optime, very well done. That concludes Review 3, chapters 9 through 12. You are now ready to move on to chapter 13. Volete omnes.